Let's take a listen at this very important video from Scott Ritter, and then I will be making some comments.
The Iranians have been preparing for this for 2 decades. They have underground facilities all over Iran that have already been dug out, prepared, ready, humidity, temperature controlled, the whole thing. If you think for a second all the high value, high tech equipment that's used in various aspects of their nuclear program were sitting in that facility waiting to be bombed. I got a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell you. It'll be a good deal. But no, we haven't done anything to them. Moreover, a facility like Ferdo, which is the buried, the enrichment facility that's deep inside a mountain, we don't have a weapon that can touch it. Our GBU 57 massive ordnance penetrator, it falls about 30 meters shy of what's necessary to penetrate this thing. Now they're talking about hitting it in and then hitting again. Look, we've done that before. During the Iraq War, there was this bunker, the Amaria shelter. One of the great tragedies of the war. We misidentified it as a command and control facility. It was squawking some communications that were unique to Saddam Hussein's inner circle. It turned out it was just a relay tower on the facility. But what it was actually was a bomb shelter where at nighttime the families from the local community would come in and hide. And we put 2 GBU 28s in there. We came in and we dropped one. It made an entry wound. And we dropped another one right through that hole, and it tore all the way down, blew up. Brilliant. And we killed everybody, hundreds of women and children. One of the great tragedies of the war. But we have the capacity to do that. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that we could put 1, 2, or even 3 GBU 57s into the same hole. But even then, and this is what Trump was briefed the other day, we don't remember. This used to be my job. Level of destruction, outcome. Even if you do that, you're not destroying the Ferdo Hall. The only way you destroy it is to put a B-6112 into that hole. A B-6112 is an American nuclear bunker buster, specifically designed, by the way, for this very target. And now Trump, the White House had to admit, the only way we can destroy Ferdo is to use a nuke, which I've been saying from day one, which everybody knew, all this. So now Trump's coming to the realization that American military intervention isn't going to achieve anything.
So Scott Ritter just dropped a bomb and basically saying that everything that we have learned about this bomb, the bunker buster bomb, that Donald Trump said obliterated Iranian nuclear sites, nothing happened. I mean, he broke it down. Scott Ritter, he broke it down. I mean, he's obviously the expert and he knows a lot more than people like you and myself. And he is the one who is claiming that this was just a waste of money for the United States. All of these bunker buster bombs that cost millions and billions of dollars. I mean, he's just refuting. I mean, Donald Trump, if he listened to what Scott Ritter just said, he will go nuts. He will go crazy.
You're not going to get rid of the Iranian nuclear program through military intervention. 2, to achieve the operation results you claim you want to achieve, to demonstrate that you did something, you're going to have to use nuclear weapons. That opens up a whole new Pandora's box that we can talk about later, but it will not end well for the world if America starts using, because everybody will start using tactical nuclear weapons. The Russians have, Admiral Crow, when he was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff during Ronald Reagan and George W. Bush, Herbert Walker Bush, he has told Larry Wilkerson, there was an event where they were briefing potential military options at that time, and they talked about the preemptive use of American tactical nuclear weapons to resolve I think it was a Korean situation. And Crow was briefed by his people and stood up in the Situation Room and said, understand this. The Russians will not be the first to use tactical nuclear weapons. But if we use tactical nuclear weapons, it's game over. because everybody will start using tactical nuclear and they will never trust us because once we use it preemptively, the assumption will be that we will use it preemptively against them as well. So they might as well preempt our preemption. And this is a nightmare. We don't want to do this, boss. Whatever we think we're going to gain from this is going to cause global calamity. And I hope somebody's giving Trump that brief right now to let him know.
Yeah, but
that,
Scott, you've given us such a rich description of what could happen and what might not happen. Is this going to stop Trump's decision to? I mean, I don't want to sound trite, but I mean, the Japanese weren't 100% sure that it would knock the United States out by attacking Pearl Harbor, but they did it anyway.
right.
Okay.
But
I mean, what my point is that you've given all the reasons why it won't succeed, but will that stop them?
did Emperor Hirohito, was he a narcissistic egomaniac who entire world dealt not with the real legitimate security of the world, but how his legacy, his stature as a man with big hands, and all this. What's going to stop Donald Trump isn't the reality. What's going to stop Donald Trump is he's losing his base. That this will be a political calamity for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The first thing is, I think he's now been educated on the economic aspects of this. And he sort of got a hint with his stupid tariff war with China, where he faced economic calamity in the face and backed down. It wasn't China that backed down. It was Trump that backed down. He just lied about he received a panic phone call from Xi Jinping, and he decided because Xi Jinping's a nice guy that he's going to stop the tariff war with the Chinese. And maybe he can come up with a lie here, too. I don't care about his lies. I just care about the results.
I don't either.
But he is losing his base. And he is not even a year into his presidency, barely over the 100-day mark. And if he goes to war against Iran, he will lose his political base. And that is the end of not only Donald Trump, but of MAGA and of this revolution. But he doesn't care because, again, Donald Trump, it's hard to ever sit there, and this is my assessment of him. He doesn't care about America as much as he cares about himself. It's all about Donald Trump. And so even if I got up there and briefed him on all the horrible things that will happen, if he felt that he could come out of this looking like a strong leader, a bold leader, a brave leader, it doesn't matter that 10,000 Americans are coming to him. You think he cares about body bags? He doesn't care about body bags. Do you think he cares about the price of gas? No, not if it makes Donald Trump the king of the world. We all have to pay a price. We have to pay a price to stand up to tyranny. We have to pay a price to stand up to the theocrats in Tehran. This is the price we're willing to pay. I am Donald Trump. I am greater than Franklin Roosevelt. I'm a wartime president. You must worship me. Except MAGA saying, no, boss. You're the guy that said Barack Obama was the worst president in the world. We're even considering going to war against Iran. You're the one who told us as you campaigned that you were a man of peace. You were going to get us out of these wars in the Middle East. You weren't going to allow Israel to drag us into these wars. And yet now you're taking intelligence report directly from Israel, disregarding Tulsi Gabbard. He will lose MAGA. And this is what's panicking Donald Trump right now. He has lost his MAGA base.
Yeah, but Scott, you haven't answered the question. Will he give the green light?
No,
okay.
Not with this.
So you're saying no. Okay.
I'm saying that
because I mean, his press spokesperson came out. Well, another 2 weeks. I mean, how many more insults are we having to endure? Okay. I mean, where's the national address on television? Where is the national interest? Where's the emergency in all of this? I hope you're right, but it seems like the lobby, the arms industry, all the other elements that go into all of this, they finally got a guy that might go along. They're not going to let that opportunity
remember,
pass.
he was supposed to give a national address. He was scheduled to give the big talk. And that's when I heard that, I went, we're in trouble, because if the narcissist gets in front of a camera and starts committing to a narrative publicly, he can't back down from that narrative. He's not man enough. He canceled it, not necessarily because of the national security briefing, although I do believe that people were starting to stand up in his cabinet saying, boss, this is it. But the people opposing it were the political people, because he won't invite. Tulsi Gabbard was cut out.
Yeah.
Wasn't allowed. So it's not the people who know the good, the bad news, the reality of it. The people surrounding him were the loyalists. Hey, boss, we're here for you. 100%. You're the greatest man in the world. What big hands you have. You're wonderful. That's not an artificial tan. That's a sign of your virility and vitality. You're a good man, Donald Trump.
Just want to add one more thing here in regards to what is happening with Donald Trump and the MAGA base, and what is happening also in terms of international politics. I think what happened is all of these countries head of state, especially from Russia, Vladimir Putin, Khamenei, Masoud Pezeshkian, Donald Trump, and a lot of these world powers, they sat together and they decided on one thing, which is that whatever happened with the Iranian nuclear sites, we're not going to be refuting. We will not refuse Donald Trump's claim that they were destroyed. We will not go, in other words, outwardly to dismiss Donald Trump and call him out for his lies, because what we understand from Scott Ritter is that these nuclear sites, they were not destroyed. I mean, you need tactical nuclear weapon for all of this to be destroyed. Therefore, these are all intact. But these world leaders, they sat together, or there was some kind of agreement with the Iranian, Russian, and the American, that we will not outwardly claim or make any bold statement about the nuclear facilities not being obliterated, as Donald Trump said. But at the same time, we will not say that these are all of these nuclear websites, or so the sites, not websites, the sites are 100% functional. I mean, they don't want to mess up with Donald Trump. That's my point. So they will agree with Donald Trump as long as he is the president, just so that Iran will avoid getting any more sanction from United States. And then once Donald Trump is gone, then depending on the behavior of the new president, Iran will come out and make adjustment to their claims as to what happened with those nuclear sites. You get my point? So I think for the time being, Iran wants to keep the calm. They don't want to ruffle any more feather in Washington, especially for Donald Trump. And they're just going to play along with the game of Donald Trump because he wants to be the king. And I think there is a good understanding among the world leaders that this is exactly what Donald Trump's want, and they will give it to him in exchange of buying time. First of all, for Iran, they are going to be rebuilding the damaged sites, and then according to, again, what will happen in the future, they will make adjustment, they will recalibrate the whole situation. But the bottom line is that at the end of the day, Iran is now more incentivized than ever before to build a nuclear bomb, and that is really the end of the story. But what Scott Ritter said, it is sending a shockwave throughout the world that these nuclear sites were not obliterated, as Donald Trump said, simply because it doesn't make any sense with this kind of GBU-57 bunker buster bombs. You cannot get rid of these nuclear facilities, especially for DOE. And therefore, it's game over for Donald Trump. It's game over for Washington. It's game over for all the narrative that the Western media, they're paddling at the moment, that somehow these nuclear sites are all obliterated, they're gone, when in reality we have an expert like Scott Ritter claiming, no, you can never get rid of these 4 nuclear sites by dropping a GBU-57 bunker buster bomb. That's just, I think, is a game over for all of this narrative, and he destroyed all of them in just one swipe. Subscribe to my channel, guys, for more videos. See you in the next one.